Hey guys, Kai from Kaizo Take a Corner here, member of the Double O Club and a fan of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, everything minus GT. Nobody wants to talk about GT. But just recently, and I think it comes down to how Akira Toriyama worded this in his interview about the future Trunks arc that is starting next week in Dragon Ball Super. And yes, I haven't been keeping up and reviewing Dragon Ball Super, because I actually really want to review the main goodness and everything. So, next week will be the return of the Dragon Ball Super reviews. But this is more down to his interview about the whole Trunks arc that's happening in Dragon Ball Super. He says that he wrote the plot, he wrote the story, and he gave it to Toei to animate and the writers to write out to fill in the blanks. So that's similar in a way how, here's an example, George R.R. Martin does with some episodes with Game of Thrones. He writes down notes, he gives them to the writer, and the writers have to fill in the blanks for the story to get from point A to get to point B, and they have to fill in the blanks and use the notes as guidelines. Akira Toriyama did a similar thing for this arc. He wrote down the plot, the ending and everything, but the only thing that was missing is the story that will get us to from the beginning to the end. Now he says that he hasn't seen the final script. Now this is where some fans on this Facebook page, or the Dragon Ball Z Facebook page, I've read that's been saying that Dragon Ball Super is non-canon. What I find kind of weird, kind of funny, when the press releases of Super, Akira Toriyama, there's involvement with Dragon Ball Super, and how he said that it is filling in the gaps of those 10 years missing in Super. Yes, Super at the moment is set 6 months after the events of Boo, but those 6 months are also part of those 10 missing years. So we have 10 years of fulfillment. So we could have a time skip here and there within Super, just so we can get into another year of Dragon Ball Super, where it fills in like the 5th year in that 10 missing year skip. And I'm going off by the time skip title chapter, 10 years after chapter of Dragon Ball's manga. What is the 10 years after the events of Boo. So we have that whole missing, that whole blankness of space and time of the adventures that we don't know about, of Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and everything in that time frame, and we don't know about in Dragon Ball. And that is getting filled up with Super. So this is taking place in a time period of canon content and making these stories are canon, so that it fills in that gap. Akira's already stated that Super is him supporting industry and him planning and helping out of this, because it is a continuation of his work, and he says it's a continuation of his work that is filling in those gaps. And I want to say this, he just said he hasn't seen the final script, and one person I've read so far has stated it's not canon. It's probably from these one lines. I haven't seen the final script. If you're saying the whole of Dragon Ball Super is non-canon from those simple lines from Akira saying he hasn't seen the final script, then you aren't a fan that has been following the news, hasn't been checking everything out of what has been said prior to the Trunks arc. I mean, yes, he said he has not seen the final script. It does not indicate that he has not seen all the scripts of Dragon Ball Super. He's probably seen all the scripts from the retellings of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F to now, and not the final script of the first episode of the Trunks arc, or the final script of the final episode of the Trunks arc. You do not know, because there's the Trunks arc might be a big arc, so might be a big saga. So he probably seen and read all the scripts of the Trunks arc prior the last script that was probably not finished, but ain't finished until the time of airing of the first episode of the Trunks arc. And he's probably just going to now enjoy the Trunks arc like a fan like us. But he has been involved with Super from the get-go. He has stated that Super is canon to his material. He has been working and involving more so than he did with Dragon Ball GT, where he only came up with the title of the series and the character designs and the robotic mechs and everything that was in GT. And here's the fact: he did not come up with Super Saiyan 4. So everything minus Super Saiyan 4, he was involved. It's like all the movies. He done the character designs in all the movies. He had really hardly any involvement with the movies because they were just Toei's cashing in on Dragon Ball's fame and making these movies. The only movie he had high involvements on are Resurrection of F and Battle of Gods. Now, saying that's Dragon Ball Super ain't canon is really just not a way to go. Are you saying that you're a fan of Dragon Ball and saying Dragon Ball Super is non-canon? Really? When there was news and articles prior to the Trunks arc that state otherwise, and that is legit information? Because that really isn't. I made this video just as a little rant video, and it's probably gone on longer than it should be. And I'm probably not going to edit this. Probably not going to edit this at all, and just upload this and give it a good title. But this is it really got to me. But remember, Akira Toriyama worked weeks on end when writing Dragon Ball. From chapter 1 to the last chapter in Z. So, or in Japan, it was just called Dragon Ball from start to finish. So you cannot tell me that by just reading that he has not seen the final script, that he probably didn't want to read the final script. Maybe he read all the others and he was fine with how they went. That he wanted to leave the final script as a surprise for himself to see where it goes or where it ended. Just to go by him saying that he has not read the final script, to say that it's non-canon, to say that Super is non-canon, is ridiculous. So remember that Super is canon, guys. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball in general, and you have read and followed up the news from the get-go about Dragon Ball Super, then you know that the people that are saying Super's non-canon is bull. And I have said this word in my video. So remember that don't trust by some guy saying it's non-canon just from one thing that Akira said, because there might be more to it, and probably is more likely of how I explained it is pretty much what is the case. So enjoy the future Trunks arc that starts next week on June 12th. I know I will be, and I will be enjoying it, and I'll be reviewing it for you guys in the Otaku corner studio, well, room. But remember that it's canon because Akira Toriyama is working and is involved in this. Maybe not as much, but he is working behind the scenes as much as possible, giving hints and ideas into the Super, more so he did with GT. Now comment down below your thoughts about this weird stupid thing that just popped up on Facebook that I read and everything, or comment down below if you agree. I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Otaku Corner, a member of the Dragonball Club, and I'll see you next time. See ya, bye bye for now.